Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So I've done some stories before put out by Daily Mail spreading just bogus misinformation, flat out lies about vegan diets. Well, this new one here today caught my eye about these hidden dangers of vegan diets that could lead to serious health problems. And to get their information about these hidden dangers of vegan diets, Daily Mail consulted Australian Instagram model slash nutritionist slash dietitian Rebecca Gawthorne. So not only does Miss Gawthorne tell us what the 4 main mistakes that new vegans and vegetarians make, she also tells us how to fix these mistakes. And the first one was not eating enough food. And when I first saw this, I go, oh, this article is actually different. She's actually going to give some good advice because I see this a lot with new vegans. They're simply not eating enough. They're under eating. So I go, oh, she knows what she's talking about. However, when I actually read what she's saying here in this article, she's claiming that many new vegans don't understand they can eat a wide variety of food. So it's not like the quantity, just the variety. She says they don't understand that they can eat fruits and vegetables. Really? Bread and soy-based foods like tempeh and tofu? So this leads to her conclusion that if you happen to decide to go vegan, you should actually consult with a professional like her, a dietitian or a nutritionist, to figure out what to eat. Well, oh no! If that were the case, no one would ever go vegan. Why do vegans need to consult nutritionists and dietitians? All she's really saying here is people, when they're new to veganism, may not know how to prepare meals. So you don't need to see a dietitian, not to toot our own horn. Just get some books like ours, Keep It Carb Baby. We show you how to make healthy, whole food, plant-based meals here, or others. But I don't understand this recommendation that veganism is so weird and dangerous. You must consult a professional or else you'll succumb to all these nutritional deficiencies. Not enough protein. At first I'm going, oh no, not the tired old where do you get your protein thing. Well, she starts off kind of reasonably saying that it's a misconception that you must eat animal products to meet your protein requirements. And furthermore says you can do fine eating a plant-based diet and get your protein needs met. However, here's where it goes wrong, though. She says it's a common mistake for vegans and vegetarians to not replace their animal sources of protein for plant sources of protein. So like if you give up an animal product, you have to find an equivalent protein plant to replace it. And I think that's just completely misguided. Americans already get more than enough protein. Let me show you how you don't even have to think about protein as a vegan, assuming you're getting enough calories, as we fully recommend here. Take a look at my morning breakfast smoothie, just one of my meals here. I eat about 3 or 4 meals a day. And bananas are not known for being protein powerhouses, but when you add it all up here, I'm getting about 1/3 of my recommended daily allowance of protein from a banana and strawberry smoothie. I mean, the proof's in the vegan pudding. I've met thousands of you guys, thousands of vegans, and I've yet to meet a single vegan who's protein deficient, been hospitalized or got a disease because they don't get enough protein. It just simply doesn't happen. I mean, you got to do something really crazy. So this advice of hers is how you have to be like always conscious of having this overt plant-based protein at every meal to take the place of an animal protein you had prior is just way too difficult and just completely unnecessary. All plants have protein. This next one here is my personal favorite, eating too many carbs. When animal products are excluded from the diet, vegans can often replace these with carbohydrate-based foods, as many carbohydrate-containing foods are plant-based. I'm not really sure what she's getting at there. I mean, it's a true fact that plant foods are generally high in carbohydrates. Yeah, except for like, nuts and seeds, avocados and durian. Yeah, if you're eating a high plant-based diet, you're getting a high carb diet. And that's not a bad thing. But she says it is because it results in eating too many carbs and inadequate protein. Like, what's too many carbs? Let's hear your macronutrient ratio here. I mean, we're talking about a diet that's like, 70, 80% calories from carbs. And that's perfectly healthy. And I mean, how much protein do you really need? How come she's just like any typical, meat-eating dietitian that's obsessed with protein and carb-fearing in this case? And some of you might be saying, well, she's not talking about eating whole food plants. She's probably talking about donuts and cakes and stuff like that. Well, look what she says here. She says we need to be concerned about starchy carbs. So I went to take a look at her blog where she talks about what she ate in a day. If you look at her lunch and dinner, you'll see, first of all, it's not a lot of calories, like a half a plate of salad. I mean, that's what, maybe 50 calories with a protein source and a carb source, which she has here as a sweet potato. So yes, she is calling out whole food carbs, not just junk food carbs. And lastly, she says vegans must keep track of their nutrients because when you go plant-based, you're missing out on some key micronutrients. So you need to do all this careful planning and analyze your diet to make sure you're not deficient. I always laugh when I hear this. It's just a complete joke. I mean, how come vegans need to keep track of their nutrients, but regular meat eaters don't? What if it were the case that, say, pretty much every single meat eater were deficient in certain micronutrients? Would she sound the alarm bells like she is here for vegans? Well, it's an absolute true fact that pretty much every meat eater is deficient not only in potassium but also fiber. But I don't see her saying, hey, if you're eating meat, you got to track your nutrients. So for us vegans, she's really concerned about our iron levels that we're not getting it from a plant-based diet. However, among Western populations, the majority of our dietary iron comes from non-heme iron, which is plant-based iron. And if you're super concerned about getting the most iron possible from your diet, all but 2 of the top 10 top sources of iron foods are from plants. Again, she's concerned about calcium on a vegan diet. And once again, virtually all the top calcium containing foods are plant foods. And of course, like most anti-vegan dietitians, she sounds the warning bells about B12 deficiency because she says it only comes from eating dead animals. Well, as I like to point out, B12 deficiency is not just a vegan issue since it concerns about 40% of Americans. And speaking about me personally, I've been vegan since 2010. I got my blood checked about 4 or 5 months ago, and my B12 levels are fine. In fact, they're more than fine, much higher than your average Americans and Canadians' B12 levels. What have I been doing? Not much. My almond milk has some B12 fortification, and I have a sublingual B12 spray that I use a few times a week. So the basic theme I see running through Ms. Gawthorne's article here on why veganism is so dangerous is that it's such a weird diet and you could potentially get deficient in all these nutrients. You need to have a doctor or dietitian or nutritionist help you plan your meals and make sure you're always conscious of having protein sources to replace your animal protein sources and make sure you're getting all your iron and add it up. I mean, who in their right mind would ever go vegan if they knew they had to do all that work? And you don't have to do all that work. So I think articles like hers are actually kind of dangerous. It's like, it sounds all nice and trying to be helpful, but it's really just showing people, vegan's really difficult and hard. I couldn't do that because it's so easy to become deficient in all these nutrients. And it's not easy to become deficient in all these nutrients. I should be dead by now because I'm not following any of Miss Gawthorne's advice. So post your questions and comments down below. Did you see this article in the Daily Mail? What do you think of Miss Gawthorne's warnings here about how dangerous a vegan diet is and have to be super careful? Do you add up your nutrients? Do you consult with a professional dietitian to make sure that you're a healthy vegan? So let us know down below. Hit like if you got some out of this video, and if you like me doing these response videos to mainstream misinformation about vegan diets, again, that's like my wheelhouse. I enjoy doing these types of videos, so let me know. And until next time, guys, I already put the book away, and I gotta hear Miss Gawthorne, get a copy of Keep It Carb Baby and keep it super carbed. And I'd like to give a big shout out to our latest supporters on patreon.com. New this month are Ryan, Corey, the Papa Bear, Xavier, and Christy. Thanks so much, guys. And if you pledged $5 or more, you should have got a message from me already with information as to how to get your downloaded music, Anji's last album, and ebooks of Keep It Carb Baby. So thank you so much, guys. One thing I want to point out is that I leave my live streams up on patreon.com for all our patrons to see. Once I do them on YouTube, I take pretty much all of them down. So another reason to support us on patreon.com to get access to those streams.